Welcome back to the Kwasi Arsenal channel. My name is Kwasi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Arsenal take on Real Madrid. It is the biggest game of the campaign on both sides. Madrid don't think they will win the Liga. I also don't think so. And Arsenal are winning nothing if we don't win the UEFA Champions League. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Let me know how you're feeling, especially after that eventful week. Gabriel getting injured, Julian Timber coming back, Bukayo Saka coming back as well. Then drawing against Everton, beating Fulham. How are you feeling? How are you, coping up with this Real Madrid pressure? Personally, I'm a little bit calm, and in this video, I'm going to explain why. Now, what I want to do in this video is analyze both Arsenal and Real Madrid sides and see if Arsenal have a chance. What should we expect out of tomorrow's game? Can Arsenal beat Real Madrid? Is it a wastage of time? Are we just going to get pampered and just outdone by Madrid? What is gonna happen? That is what I want to do in this video. Now, what I want to say here is that a couple of Arsenal fans are very optimistic, and why not? This is the only reason Arsenal fans are still watching football. I mean, I've never done an Arsenal match reaction and it got as low views and low engagement like the reactions of the recent games. And that tells you everything you need to know about our Premier League. It is over, it is done, it is dusted. So if you're going to do anything this campaign, it's going to be in the UEFA Champions League. And that is why Arsenal fans are very optimistic. This is the only chance they have to believe. This is the only reason we can go into a bar and watch football thinking something positive is going to come out. Maybe we beat Madrid and we are in the semi-finals. Maybe we get to the final. Maybe something happens. Just maybe. But one of the reasons why we are very optimistic as well is because you have the return of Bukayo Saka. I think Saka, in this Arsenal team, it kind of feels like he's a Viking that can lead Arsenal into battle against any army and we come out victorious. And that is not a problem. That is not wrong as well. He's one of our most important players, if not the most important player at Arsenal, but he's definitely the most effective Arsenal player. I mean, when we have him, we are always going to cook and we are always going to deliver. So I can see why Arsenal fans have this level of optimism. We believe we're going to do something against Madrid, especially with Saka coming back. But also Madrid this season, they've had a varying degree of, I would say, performance. Because, I mean, at some point in time, they were really good. You look at the way they decimated Manchester City and you're like, boy, oh boy, this team is not that bad. It's a very, very good team. And then you look at their performances where they were decimated by Barca. You look at their struggles against Atletico Madrid. They lost their last game against Valencia at home on Saturday this weekend. And that tells you everything you need to know about the struggles of Real Madrid. So I can understand from an objective point of view, if someone comes in and says Arsenal have a chance. But I also understand from a kind of a biased point of view why Arsenal fans feel there is a chance against Real Madrid. Now, personally, I am not 100% optimistic. Although Madrid have had their own struggles, Arsenal have had their own struggles too, and ours are even bigger. Let me explain. First and foremost, injuries have been a big thing, and as we go into this game, Gabriel Magalhaes is ruled out for the whole season. Not just Madrid home and away, just for the whole season. If Arsenal get through to the semi-finals, we won't have Gabriel Magalhaes, and even if we go through to the final, we won't have Gabriel Magalhaes. So it is for that reason that I'm not very optimistic Arsenal are going to come and put up a show. When you look at players like Julian Timber, he's coming back from an ACL injury last campaign, and this season he's almost played every single game. Now, credit to him, he's an elite athlete. He's one of those players that have kept themselves in very good shape. He's not picked up so many injuries, couple of knocks here, here and there maybe, but he's come back, bouncing back quickly and nicely. But with these injuries in our squad, and Madrid do have their own part of injury troubles as well. We'll talk about them. I just kind of feel like it is hard for me to be very optimistic. But the real reason as to why I'm not optimistic about Madrid is the lack of goals that has been showed by Arsenal this campaign. boy, oh boy, we are so bad at making that ball cross the line. Like, we do score a couple of goals, like one or two, but in such a game, I mean, we've seen Madrid teams before, and we've seen Madrid sides before as well. They paper goals, they score goals in the UEFA Champions League. Madrid in the UCL is very different from Madrid in La Liga, in the Copa del Rey, and all these other competitions. It's just a different side. It's just a different monster. You're playing a different beast, and you can't kill it that easily. So for me, I'm gonna say with these injuries and the lack of goals, it is hard for me to be very, very optimistic. Now that doesn't mean that Arsenal don't have a chance. It means that I just don't want to put myself out there to believe and then get disappointed. So let's dive into the analysis of both teams, especially this campaign. What has transpired at Arsenal and what has transpired at Real Madrid. So first and foremost, I want us to start with Real Madrid. They've had a couple of inconsistent performances this campaign, and I think if you've been following Madrid, or if you've been following La Liga and Spanish football, you can testify to this. There was a time where they were really beaten, cleaned and annihilated by Barcelona on not one occasion, but twice. They conceded about 4 goals in the first leg, and when they played, it was in the Super Cup, I think, they conceded 5 against FC Barcelona. Now, when you look at that, you're like, this season, Madrid are washed. They kind of remind you of Bayern last season when we played them. We went into this game with a lot of optimism. Bayern was struggling. They had a bad campaign. And somehow, they actually held on to us until they got a result and then they knocked us out. But Madrid this campaign, they've had those really bad performances. Again, against Valencia over the weekend. Those really bad performances where like, they're really bad. Arsenal can do a job on them. And then they've had some very good performances. That's why I'm saying their season has been really inconsistent. When you think about the game they played against Manchester City, credit to them, they really beat Manchester City, but City is not that good as well. But they washed away Manchester City, and not so many clubs have washed away Manchester City. Yes, City have been bad. Yes, they have been struggling. But how many teams have really washed City away? It was Sporting CP, we recall. It was Madrid as well in that knockout, return leg. So they've had good performances and they have bad performances. And if you're an Arsenal fan, you pray that Real Madrid come on their bad day. And the other problem they've had this campaign has been lots and lots of injuries. And Arsenal as well, we've had injury problems of our own. So this is not something new, but it's an excuse. Arsenal have used it as an excuse for a whole season to go by without winning anything. Why can't Real Madrid? And in fact, as we play them tomorrow, I'll be doing my starting 11 for Madrid and Arsenal. It kind of feels like they will not have any of their starting fullbacks. That is Ferland Mendy injured, and also Dani Carvajal injured as well. At centre back, if Rudiger is not suspended, he might be there. But if Rudiger is suspended, they might have to, work something out. Maybe, someone like Alaba playing in that centre-back position with a youngster like Asensio. So you can see that this is kind of a makeshift defense for Real Madrid, and it's not the Madrid defense you expect. Ferland Mendy, Dani Carvajal, Antonio Rudiger, maybe Alaba, maybe Eder Militao. That is not the backline we are going to see. So they've suffered a couple of injuries, and that's to the advantage of Arsenal. If we can take advantage of that, maybe there is something to think about. I've talked about the humiliations as well. I've talked about the City game. Now, they struggled against Atletico Madrid, and this is a point in their season that really matters to us. That Atletico Madrid return leg, I think ATM deserved to go through. Honestly, Atletico Madrid were robbed in that game. And maybe at times you're just unlucky because how does VAR start on your penalty to actually take closer looks at penalties? But maybe we should be playing Atletico Madrid. They really struggled. Madrid really struggled against ATM. And I think if Arsenal can deploy a similar kind of stiff block, a team that's not easy to beat, Madrid will definitely struggle. So why have they really struggled this campaign? For me, I'm going to say it's just a poor season, but then there's also that lack of connection up front. I mean, when they had Vinicius Jr., Benzema, and Rodrigo, it was clicking, right? They had that natural connection. It was seamless. With the introduction of Kylian Mbappe, he's really scored a lot of goals, by the way. I'm surprised that he's reached those numbers. Again, not surprised. He's really that good. But when you think about Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius and Rodrigo, and maybe Brahim Diaz, these are players that should be naturally clicking. But this team has got a couple of too many, actually, superstars. Jude Bellingham, Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo. There's so many superstars in the team. I think Carlo Ancelotti is struggling a little bit with how do I fit them all together harmoniously. And maybe that's the point that Arsenal can actually have. And then it's just a poor season. As simple as that. It's just a poor season. Madrid, by your standards and by their standards, it's just a bad season. I mean, all of us expect Madrid to work well and deliver. It hasn't happened. This campaign is as simple as that. But what about Arsenal? What is our season looking like? Now, Arsenal as a team, this is what I'm going to say. We have had a very good defense and we've been very good in control of games. We have done that very well. I don't want to hear anyone taking that away from us. Arsenal have been a well-drilled team and we have done our due diligence. The problem with Arsenal this campaign and the highlight of our campaign, no goals and many injuries. I mean, Saka has got injured this campaign and so has Martinelli and Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus. That is just the front line, right? And Ethan Nwaneri. All but one of our front players, that is Trossard, have been injured at some point in time this campaign. We had an injury to Odegaard. We had an injury to Lewis Kelly. We had an injury. We've had injuries across the pitch everywhere. So, and again, for this game, Madrid and Arsenal come in this one as, teams that are really nursing injuries. Is it going to create an impact? Definitely. If Madrid don't pounce on Arsenal injuries, Arsenal will pounce on Madrid's injuries, which actually leads to an ultimate lack in quality or drop in quality for that case. The lack of goals is really going to affect us in this game, right? Because I feel like this is a very big game, but however big it is, if you can't score, how do you hope to win it? It's as simple as that. Arsenal have also struggled against mid blocks and low blocks, and Madrid have got those hard-working players that can just set up a mid block and deal with us, like Camavinga, Tchouameni, Valverde. They're very technical players, right? And they have technical players in Bellingham and Camavinga and Valverde as well, but they're also hard-working guys that are patient enough and very, very good and disciplined to sit in a mid block and frustrate Arsenal. And imagine they create a mini counter attack after setting up a mid block. We lose the ball and they set up a mini counter attack, devastating us with the pace of Mbappe, Vinicius, Rodrigo, Brahim Diaz. It's gonna be ugly. So I want to say with this one that our season has not been good, but we've got to find a way of scoring goals in this game and also dealing with the mid block. I don't think Madrid will fall back into a low block. It will be embarrassing, right? The one thing that Mikel has got to work on, he's had a very good defense. I don't think that defense is going to be helping so much without Gabriel. We need to find a plan B. And our plan A this season has been defend well, work with set pieces. Defend well, work with set pieces. Make sure you have possession, get a corner, and then maybe we might score. We need a good plan B, and that could be Bukayo Saka. So, the big question, can Arsenal beat Real Madrid at the Emirates Stadium tomorrow? And my answer is simply yes and no. I'm sorry, I wanted to say yes, but it's just too difficult. Why? Yes. I'm going to say that Real Madrid can have a bad day, and they've had a couple of bad days this season. And if they come on that bad day away from home, Arsenal will do a job on you. 2-1, 1-0, 3-2, 3-1. I mean, we have done 7 against PSV. Do not underestimate this Arsenal side in the Champions League. But then also, why I think Arsenal can do a job against Real Madrid is this. Because we know that our defense isn't that good, could it prompt Mikel Arteta to find another strategy of winning this game? Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want anyone to say, oh, because he said that our defense isn't that good. It is good, but without Gabriel, it's a little bit thin. But on the other side, I kind of feel like this Madrid optimism is for nothing. Why? I think Madrid is levels above Arsenal. Like, there's a team that is off form, but still levels above you. The way Leicester City would play Manchester City. City's off form, but they're still levels above. I'm not saying Arsenal is Leicester and Madrid is City. I'm trying to give you an analogy. The other thing that I think is going to define this game is going to be the attack. There is a big difference between the Madrid attack in quality and the Arsenal attack. And I think they will devastate us with their pace. I kind of feel like we might not be able to stop them 100%. We might stop them, but this is war. You don't expect to stop all the bullets and all the bazookas. Some will go through and they'll hurt your defensive lines. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. If you're excited, let me know. If you're afraid, you're not alone. I am scared of this game. But I'll see you in the next.